Ever find yourself like, going down these YouTube rabbit holes about soccer?
Oh, yeah,
I know I do.
for sure.
And one channel I always seem to end up on is Jean Futol's.
Okay.
He's got some really good takes, especially on Real Madrid.
Yeah, Futol's definitely onto something with his Real Madrid analysis, and lately there's been a lot to talk about, right?
Yeah.
Like their transfer strategy has taken a pretty sharp turn.
Yeah, it really has. And I think it's worth a deep dive today.
Okay.
We're talking about a club that's synonymous with big money signings, right?
Yeah.
Splashing the cash for Galacticos.
Mm-hmm.
But now they seem to be all about those free transfers, picking up players at the end of their contracts.
Yeah.
What's the deal with that?
Well, it's not as simple as Real Madrid just suddenly becoming frugal,
Right.
A lot of this has to do with some serious financial constraints that they're facing.
Okay, so let's unpack that.
Yeah.
What's putting the squeeze on Real Madrid's budget?
I think their stadium renovation is a huge factor.
Okay.
It's a massive project, and those costs are kind of creating a ripple effect throughout the club.
Yeah.
In fact, some sources even suggest it's causing like a bit of internal frustration.
Yeah. I can imagine having to rein in spending when you're Real Madrid.
Yeah.
A club that's used to getting what it wants.
Yeah.
That's got to be a tough pill to swallow.
Exactly. And we've seen it play out in their transfer dealings.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the pursuit of Alphonso Davies?
Yeah, they were heavily linked with him.
They were very keen, but ultimately they couldn't make the numbers work.
Right.
And that's a clear sign that these financial limitations are very, very real.
So it's not just about this one-off stadium project.
No,
It sounds like there are bigger forces at play here.
absolutely. The landscape of player contracts is changing too.
Okay.
Players are running down their contracts more often to leverage better deals.
Okay.
It's actually a bit ironic considering that's exactly what Real Madrid is doing now.
Wait, hold on. You're saying Real Madrid's own strategy is coming back to bite them?
In a way, yes.
Wow.
The same tactics they're using to acquire players on free transfers could lead to their own stars walking away for nothing in the future.
Oh, wow.
It's a risk they're taking.
So how does all this impact Real Madrid's squad planning?
Yeah.
They can't just sit around and wait for players' contracts to expire, can they?
No, they have to be much more proactive and patient.
Okay.
Think of it like this. They're playing the long game now.
Mm-hmm.
Reports indicate they're already scouting central defenders.
Wow.
Whose contracts expire in 2026 and 2027.
That's thinking way ahead.
Yeah.
But wouldn't that make it harder to compete for immediate success?
Yeah.
You need top talent now, not just in a few years.
It's definitely a balancing act.
Right.
They have to find a way to blend those long-term targets with players who can make an impact right away.
Yeah.
And that brings us to one of the most interesting storylines, Vinicius Jr.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
The Vinicius situation. It's kind of a puzzle.
It is.
He's a young star.
Yeah.
They want to extend his contract, yet there are all these rumors about a potential sale.
It's confusing.
Here's the thing. There's substantial interest from Saudi Arabia, with rumored offers exceeding $300 million.
Wow.
That's a staggering amount, even for a club like Real Madrid.
I mean, no one's turning down that kind of money, right?
Well, not necessarily. It's
Okay.
not just about the money.
Okay.
The arrival of Kylian Mbappe has really shaken up their wage structure.
Right.
His salary is enormous, and letting go of Vinicius, despite his talent, might be the only way to rebalance things and prevent future salary conflicts.
So they're caught between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah,
Keep a star player or maintain financial stability.
exactly.
It's a tough call.
It is, and this situation with Vinicius really highlights the complex financial web Real Madrid is trying to untangle.
Yeah.
It's not as simple as just buying and selling players anymore.
Speaking of potential shakeups, there's also the Xabi Alonso factor to consider.
Oh, yeah.
He's being touted as a possible future manager, especially with Ancelotti's contract coming to an end. Yeah. The interesting thing here is that Real Madrid seems very confident in their current structure.
Okay.
They believe any incoming manager, even a legend like Alonso, would need to adapt to their model.
So they're not going to change their approach just because a new manager comes in.
Right.
That's a bold statement.
It is, and it shows that they're committed to this new direction regardless of who's at the helm.
It's almost like they're saying, we have a plan and we're sticking to it.
Exactly.
But what about other players?
Yeah.
Are there other names on the chopping block besides Vinicius Jr.?
Well, there's Rodrigo.
Okay.
While Real Madrid hasn't publicly expressed a desire to sell him, his advisors are reportedly pushing for a move,
Interesting.
suggesting he deserves a more prominent role elsewhere.
So there could be more departures on the horizon.
Potentially.
It sounds like Real Madrid might be in for a pretty significant roster overhaul in the coming seasons.
It certainly seems that way.
Wow.
They're facing some tough decisions, trying to strike that delicate balance between ambition and financial sustainability.
Right. This whole free transfer strategy is a big part of that equation.
Yeah.
It's fascinating to watch it unfold, and I'm curious to see how it all plays out.
Me too. This deep dive is already giving me a whole new perspective on Real Madrid's moves. It's not just about individual players anymore.
Right.
It's about a much bigger shift in how they operate.
Exactly. And I think it raises a really important question. Can Real Madrid actually maintain their dominance while embracing this more financially cautious approach?
That's the million-euro question, isn't it?
It is.
And one we'll be exploring further in this deep dive.
It's a gamble for sure.
Yeah.
But Real Madrid has always been a club that adapts and evolves.
Right.
They've weathered storms before,
Right.
and they'll likely find a way to navigate this one too.
What if they pull it off, though?
Yeah.
What if they become like this model of financial responsibility and still keep winning trophies?
That's the dream scenario, isn't it?
Yeah?
If they can achieve both, it would be a game changer, not just for Real Madrid, but for the entire landscape of European soccer. It would really challenge that notion that you need to spend endlessly to stay on top.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It would show that strategic planning and smart acquisitions
Right.
can be just as effective as splashing the cash.
Do you think other clubs are paying attention to what Real Madrid is doing?
I think they have to be. Clubs like Barcelona and Juventus are facing similar financial pressures,
Right.
and they're going to be looking for ways to stay competitive without breaking the bank.
So Real Madrid could become a blueprint for a new era of financial prudence in European soccer.
Potentially.
Yeah.
But it's important to remember that success isn't guaranteed.
Of course.
This is still a huge risk for Real Madrid.
And let's not forget that all of this financial maneuvering is ultimately about what happens on the field.
Right. At the end of the day, it's about results.
Yeah.
Can Real Madrid continue to win trophies with this new approach?
Well, they still have a world-class squad.
They do.
A legendary manager in Ancelotti
Mm-hmm.
and a winning mentality that's unmatched.
And don't underestimate the power of the Real Madrid badge.
Right.
Players want to play for this club.
Yeah.
They want to be a part of its history.
But can that history and prestige carry them through a period of financial constraint?
That's the question everyone is asking.
Yeah.
And the answer might depend on how they handle some key decisions in the coming months.
It's like what?
Well, Ancelotti's contract is up at the end of the second.
Okay.
They need to decide whether to stick with him or look for a new manager.
And then there's the Xabi Alonso question.
Right.
He's kind of waiting in the wings.
Yeah.
And a lot of fans see him as the heir apparent.
It's a fascinating dynamic, the veteran manager versus the young up-and-comer.
Yeah.
It's almost Shakespearean.
Okay, let's not get too carried away with the drama.
Right.
But seriously, what do you think Real Madrid will do?
It's hard to say, but I think they'll prioritize stability.
Okay.
They won't rush into a decision. They'll weigh their options carefully.
And they've shown that they're not afraid to make bold moves when necessary.
Right? This whole free transfer strategy is a testament to that.
Yeah.
They're willing to take risks and challenge conventional thinking.
It's what makes them such a compelling club to follow.
It is.
They're always pushing boundaries, always striving for more.
And that ambition is what makes this new financial approach so intriguing.
Right.
Can they achieve their goals while staying true to their values?
It's a tightrope walk, but if anyone can pull it off, it's Real Madrid.
Yeah.
They have a knack for defying expectations.
And that's why we'll be watching closely, analyzing every move, dissecting every decision.
Because with Real Madrid, there's always something to learn.
Always.
Always something to debate.
They're a club that sparks endless conversations, ignites passions, and never fails to entertain.
And that's what makes them such a perfect subject for a deep dive like this.
Right. They're a club that transcends the sport. A symbol of excellence, ambition, and the relentless pursuit of glory.
So what does all this mean for our listeners?
Yeah.
Why should they care about Real Madrid's strategic shift?
Well, for one, it gives them a glimpse behind the curtain of one of the most successful clubs in the world.
Okay.
They're seeing how Real Madrid is adapting to the changing financial realities of the sport.
And it's not just about Real Madrid, is it?
Yeah.
This reflects a broader trend in European soccer.
Exactly. Clubs are having to be more careful with their money.
Right.
They can't just spend recklessly anymore.
So it's a lesson in sustainability.
Absolutely.
Right.
It's about making smart decisions for the long-term health of the club.
And it's about finding creative ways to stay competitive even when you're facing financial constraints.
Right. Real Madrid is showing that you don't have to have the biggest budget to be successful.
It's about having a plan, a vision,
Yeah.
and the willingness to execute it.
And it's about being adaptable.
Right.
Being able to change course when circumstances demand it.
Which is exactly what Real Madrid is doing.
Yeah.
They're embracing a new era,
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to be fascinating to see how it unfolds.
Absolutely. It's a story that's still being written, and one that we'll be following closely. Because with Real Madrid, the pursuit of excellence never ends.
It's almost like a case study in evolution, right?
Yeah.
They're having to adapt to survive in this new financial ecosystem.
That's a great way to put it. And what's fascinating is that it's forcing them to rediscover some core values.
Oh, okay.
Like nurturing young talent.
Yeah, instead of just buying ready-made stars,
Yeah.
they're having to invest in their academy again.
Yeah.
Which is something Real Madrid has always been known for.
Precisely. And they're finding ways to blend those young players with experienced veterans they can get on free transfers.
Right.
It's a smart strategy, especially when you consider the wage bill.
Right. You can get a lot of experience and leadership without breaking the bank.
Exactly.
But it does raise a question.
Yeah.
Can you really build a dynasty on free transfers?
That's the big unknown, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's never been done before at this level.
Right.
But Real Madrid might just be the club to prove it's possible.
And if they succeed, it could have huge implications for other clubs.
Absolutely. It could trigger a domino effect with more teams adopting a similar approach.
Wow.
We could see a shift away from these mega money transfers and a return to a more sustainable model.
It would be a sea change for European soccer.
It would.
But let's be real, it's not going to be easy.
No.
There are going to be bumps in the road.
Of course, there will be times when they miss out on a key signing because they're not willing to overspend.
Right.
There'll be times when their young players make mistakes. But that's all part of the process.
And it's what makes it so compelling to watch.
Yeah.
We're witnessing a club in transition, trying to find a new path to success.
And the stakes couldn't be higher. We're talking about Real Madrid, a club with a legacy of winning.
Right.
They don't accept anything less than excellence.
So for you, the listener, this is more than just a story about Real Madrid.
Right.
It's a story about the future of soccer.
It's about the challenges and opportunities facing the sport in a changing financial landscape.
Okay.
It's about finding ways to stay competitive without sacrificing long-term stability.
It's about innovation adaptation and the relentless pursuit of success, even when the rules of the game are changing.
And it's a story that's only just beginning.
So keep watching, keep listening, and keep those questions coming, because this deep dive into Real Madrid's strategic shift is just the start of a much bigger conversation.
And it's a conversation we need to have.
Hello, if you are listening to this, you may not be subscribed to the channel. Activate the bell so that they will notify you when there is a new story, and share with the people you want. I thank you from the bottom of my heart.